Oh, hey there! Long time no see. Welcome back to another One Piece chapter reaction, review, whatever you want to call it. It's just me talking about the chapter and being like, oh my god, and geeking out. Anyways, I cut my hair since last time I saw you guys, and I kind of regret it because I look kind of goofy. So we're gonna, we're gonna put a hat on because I don't like the way I cut my hair. But anyways, this is chapter 1107. I missed out on like 6-7 weeks of chapters and I apologize, but we're back now, so let's get it started. So as I said, I haven't talked about or reviewed a chapter in the past like 6 weeks, which is like 2 months or something. Yeah, like 2 months, a month and a half, something like that. So there's a lot of stuff that's happened and a lot of crazy stuff. I've been keeping up with it. Obviously, there's just some stuff that was happening and I wasn't able to make a video. But now we're back, and we're back to the weekly videos, or whenever a new chapter comes out. Anyways, let's get this started. So we're starting off the chapter with Dory and Broggy. And they're just kind of like, Oimo, Kashi! And they're like, yo, get the other giants, swing around the side, and just start hammering against these warships. Because remember, they're doing it. Oh, wait, I didn't, react to that. But there's basically another buster call, and it's being called an egghead. So they're like, destroy any ship you see, just start swinging. And basically, Dory and Broggy arrived on this giant, like, Viking longship. Like the Vinland Saga type, ships. Where they're like, row, row, that type. But they're giants, so they're... It's a big ass ship. And we see Oimo and Kashi. If you don't know who those are, they're from Eddie's Lobby. Remember the one that were guarding the gate? That's them. They're back as well. And they're like, roger that. We'll get those bastards. Let's go. And everybody's like, yeah. And then we see a bunch of other giant pirates in the back. We see 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe there's 6. Damn, there's a lot of giants. I was not expecting this. And this is like a double page spread, but it's so fucking cool. Dory has his new sword. Broggy has his new axe. They got the shields. So last time we left off where the Marines are freaking out because they're like, holy crap, the giant pirates are back. And these guys are feared. That's why, Dory and Broggy were feared. So to see these guys back is like, oh shit. Kind of like Nika when he appeared, the Gors here were like, oh fuck. He actually did it. They're like, kill them immediately. Well, basically they're freaking out. They're like, where have they been all these years? And here's the thing that everybody's been talking about. So how did Dory and Broggy manage to make it back to Elbaf? Because, they didn't have a ship. They were stuck on an island. Remember when Usopp went and told, Oimo and Kashi, yo, I don't remember what they told Oimo and Kashi. I don't remember they told them, they had them hostage or that they were dead or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But I feel like after Usopp told them, yo, your captains are alive. They're at Little Garden. I assume Oimo and Kashi were like, oh, shit, well, let's go get them. And they went, and maybe they chilled for a bit, and then they left, and they went back to Elbaf, and that's when Shanks shows up, and then, they see, maybe on their way back to Elbaf, that the wanted poster from, the Gear 5th Luffy, and maybe they're like, holy crap, this is Nika. Holy crap, we just met him a couple years ago, and now he's Nika. Holy, this is insane. Because remember, it's a 2-year time skip plus maybe 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. Close to 3 years, I would like to assume. And that's what I think. Maybe they were sailing back, and then they got to, Elbaf, and then Shanks, and then they were talking, and then maybe Shanks told them something, and they were like, oh yeah, we met Straw Hat, oh, he's a cool kid. And now we're seeing that he's the sun god. And Shanks is like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And maybe explained it to him, yeah, I had the devil fruit and he ate it, etc., etc. And then now maybe they left because they're like, all right, well, we're seeing these in trouble. Let's go fucking help our god. Because for them, they praise the sun god. So, yeah, that's what's going on. Holy fuck, this is just the first page. Let's keep it going. So then the Marines are like, holy crap. It's the red ogre and the blue ogre. It's Dory and Broggy. Dory's the blue. Broggy's the red. If you guys didn't know, I'll put a picture. So this is funny. Next to the giants, we see this warship. And remember, these are battleships. These are huge battleships the Marines have. And it looks like it's just a tiny like rubber duck. Like these guys look humongous, and at the bottom it says Giant Warrior Pirates. So they're just steaming right through. The giant warrior pirates are like jumping off the ship and they're destroying all the battleships, and they're like, holy crap, they made landfall, and they're like starting to jump off the ship. And then we see like this cool like freaking Viking-esque, you know, like Nordridge or whatever you call that, like Viking longship. It has like a cool horn on the front of the figurehead. Ah, this is so cool. And then we see someone looking down. And it's Usopp and Nami and Chopper. And this is what I've been waiting for, dude. I know I didn't talk about it, but I talked about it with other people. And I was like, dude, I can't wait for Usopp to meet like Dory and Broggy again. Or Omoi and Kashi. So having all four of them there, this is literally his reaction. He's like, oh, my masters! And he just starts bawling his eyes out, and like boogers start coming out of his nose. And he's like, holy shit! He's like, wait, what? Oh, why are they here? And Nami's like, I can see Oimo and Kashi too. This is literally what I just talked about. Nami's like, I bet they went to Little Garden to pick up their leaders. I literally just said that. Didn't I not just say that? Did I? I think I did. And you know, like Nami mentioned, like, oh, they went to go pick up their leaders. That's exactly what I said. Like, let's go pick up our captains, you know? There we go. I guess they're right. Usopp's like, that's gotta be it. Man, I was worried. I thought we might not see them in Elbaf. So he says, I thought we might not see them in Elbaf. Which clearly means they were going to Elbaf before even this happened. So, there you go. And now we get like this cute little thing where it says, a refresher on the giant warrior pirates. I'm gonna read it to you word by word. Long ago, oh, like the narrator. Long ago, the world was terrorized by the formidable group led by co-captains Dory and Broggy. Their crew would disband after they got into a certain quarrel. Luffy and the gang helped them out when their century-long duel came to an end. Later on, while storming a different island, they would encounter and befriend Oimo and Kashi, a pair of giants who set out to check on their captains. See? There we go. That's exactly what I said. What if, you know, they were like, oh, they're a Little Garden, let's go get them. There we go. Then we see Edison, and he's like, looks like they're really fucking up those Marines. He's like, I can't believe you guys know each other. And Edison goes on and says, they must have come running when they heard the news. And they're like, huh? How's that possible? The Navy marshaled a ton of manpower for this operation. It's no wonder it make the newspapers. But I reckon the headlines must be painting them in a good light. Saying like, oh, the Marines came and like fucked them up because they were doing some kind of evil shit in Egghead, you know, stuff like that. And Usopp and Nami are probably like, so this is big news already, huh? I guess that makes sense. So Usopp's still like fucking crying, and he's like, they didn't come here to wage war. They came here to help us get out of here. We gotta hurry up and finish our preparations to leave. Then we hear butta butta butta, and then quick chick, and then gotcha, and then Nami-san, it's Brook. And then they're like, Brook, where are you? He's like, close. And we see the Sunny. We see this. Well, basically, last time what happened is, you know, Brook can control ice, so he made, you know, the inner purgatory ice, or whatever the fuck he calls it. The hell ice, or I forgot the fuck the name is. And he basically made all the clouds that they were jumping on into ice, because, you know, the clouds, you can freeze them, blah, 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 blah. And so now they're, like, sliding down with the Sunny, and they're on their way, you know, to the Labo Strato to pick up Usopp and, you know, Nami and them. So he's like, we are very close, but we won't be able to stop for tea. And then Lilith just slaps him and says, will you knock it off? Like, we need to stop. Because last time they mentioned that he told, you know, Lilith was with Brook, and Lilith was like, holy crap, this is a great idea. Like, you're a genius, Brook. And he's like, yes I am, aren't I? And then Lilith goes, so how are we gonna stop? And he's like, oh, I didn't think that through. We're just gonna have to like keep going. And she's like, we gotta stop at some point. She like slaps him, and that's the same thing right here. It's like, if we fly off the edge, we'll be fried by the barrier because of the, you know, the fucking lasers. I forgot what they were called. I haven't. If I kept up the reviews, I would remember all the names. I just haven't, you know, whatever. And so she goes, hello, this is Lilith. This numbskull really is brainless. We can't afford to dilly-dally, so pay attention. So now we cut away to Jinbei. Jinbei, get it? Bay? And he's like, sounds like they're really fired up. We need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. This isn't the time to be picking fights, Zoro. And he's like, come on. And he's like, I don't know if he's floating. I think he's floating. Because of the, remember the airwalk things? Like the boots that they have, they could float. I think that's what he's doing. He looks funny because he's like flying. Which I mentioned, last time they were fighting and we didn't know who the fuck won. But now, you know, yeah. So he's panting. Lucci's panting and he's like, you're pretty tough. But I'm in a hurry, so I gotta wrap this up. Remember, it's been like 2 minutes. But for us, it's been like 4 weeks. So then Lucci's like, only the winner gets to tail. Only the winner gets to talk like that, Roronoa. And then you hear cling, cling, because of the nails and the swords. And Lucci goes on and says, those fools will never make it if they can't cut off the arm to save the body. Basically implying like, I would leave without you. Like, fuck that. I'm leaving. You're basically dead. I'm gonna fuck you up. You're dead. That's basically what Lucci's saying. And he's like, it almost sounds like you think you're the one in control of this fight, Lucci. And they're both going at it. We cut away and we see a laser when it blows it up and they're like, damage report? And they're like, roughly 30 or so of our small to medium-sized ships have been sunk. Remember, oh fuck, I forgot. I haven't done a review. But basically, Bonnie can control the pacifistas now. And yeah, she's basically like, help us get us out, destroy the ships and the Marines. So now they start bombarding the ships. So now like, everything's in chaos right now. There's a lot of shit going on. Now we see one of the Marines that we've seen, like one of the Vice Admirals that has like 40 chins. And he's like, pull back all the small vessels and lead with the battleships. We can't afford to leave an opening. Yes, sir. Vice Admiral Red King. So now we got his name. The big chin dude, his name is Red King. Okay. He goes on and says, this is a pitiful sight. To think we Marines have to fire on our own weapons. Implying, you know, they gotta destroy the pacifistas. And we see the pacifista and he just, and he's like falling to the ground. Jewelry Bonnie basically found out for the first time that Luffy is Nika, the sun god. Because he was laughing and you can hear the dun 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 dun, you know, the heartbeat and stuff. And Vegapunk's like, so you haven't pieced it together. Oh yeah, Vegapunk, no one's fucking dead. The Gorosei fucking rude. The Gorosei just pierced him with one of the claw spike things on his feet, his foot. I don't whatever the heck that is. And he explained to Bonnie like, you didn't piece it together, right, Bonnie? He's actually the sun god that you've worshipped. And now Luffy's in the air just doing, doing, you know, bouncing to his rhythm, boing, boing, and he's like, hey, Bonnie! Epic double page spread. He's smiling and he looks at her and says, why are you crying? What's with the waterworks? And she's like bawling her eyes out and she's like, why wouldn't I be crying, you idiot? I've been looking for you for so long. And he's like, what? I've been here the whole time. You know, cause Luffy, you know, he thinks of himself as just Luffy. He doesn't think of himself as like a god or anything. So he's like, what do you mean? I've been here the whole time. And she's like, sure, but I didn't know you were Nika. And he's like, Nika? What the heck is that? So, you know, he doesn't... Luffy thinks this is just like Gear 5th, you know, like us. For us, he's the sun god, Nika. For other people like the Gorosei, like Vegapunk, the people that know the world history and stuff that studied it would know he's sun god Nika, you know, like the giants of Elbaf. They know who their sun god is, so, you know, they would immediately recognize him. But for Luffy, he's just like, oh, this is my new power-up. Kind of like when Goku went into, like, Super Saiyan Red, and they're like, whoa, is that divine energy? Like, what is that, you know? He knew what it was, because, you know, obviously. But for Luffy, he's like, oh, this is just another power-up, you know? This is my peak. And he's like, dun, 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 you know, he's like dancing and shit. Oh, and then Luffy's like just in the air like this. He's just like, oh, yeah. What's with that flimsy punch you tried earlier? And she goes on and says, I was going for a big rubbery attack like you. If it's flimsy, why don't you show me how it's done? And she's like bawling her eyes out, and then she points at Saint Saturn and goes, "Give that old windbag a good one for Vegapunk, and then we can get out of here." And there's this funny shot where he's like, "What the heck, Vegapunk?" You know, because Luffy doesn't really pay attention to a lot of stuff. You know, he's just kind of like there, like, he's just having a good time. Especially in Gear 5th, you know, and he didn't see when Saint Saturn fucking pierced him. So his reaction is like, holy shit! Even though he's been floating above him for like the past like minute, he just noticed that Vegapunk's on the ground like half dead. And he's like, what the heck? Which is hilarious. And then the Goros say, you know, Saint Saturn's immediately like, none of you filthy cockroaches have a right to live now. You know, because Nika, and he's like, you're wrong, and he just smiles. And I saw this thing the other day on Twitter. I forgot who posted it, but I saw. Why am I scratching my hat? I'm itchy on my head. What the heck? I saw a post that said, the more he laughs, and the more laughter, like you know, whatever, the stronger he is. So it's like, that's interesting. Anyways, so he goes, all right, Bonnie, I'll show you how it's done. And he starts, you know, doing the arm thing like in the cartoons when he's like, woo, woo, woo. And then it starts turning into like a, what's it called? Like a helicopter? I forgot what it's called. Propeller. There we go. And he's like, for the record, this is how you punch. The Gorosei dude, Saint Saturn does something with like the whooshing. And it kind of just like punches Luffy like, you know? And he's like, you're gonna pay for hurting my friends. And he just goes, gum gum, booming dong Gatling. And he just starts going crazy with armament hockey, just fucking going insane on this guy's face, which is like, yes, finally! Like Luffy finally started fighting this fool. And he just like, and he just like goes flying backwards. And then Bonnie's just there like looking. We see Kuma, the actual body of Kuma. And he's like there just like, honestly, I wished he would have reacted just a little bit. You know, just a little bit where he's like, just a smile or something knowing that that's Nika, you know. And Vegapunk's just there like, you know, like almost dead. And Luffy just, he's smiling. He just sent Saint Saturn just flying, bam, right into a building. So then, Frankie's like, oh shit, this is our chance. Like, Luffy got him, let's go. Bonnie, use the hover mechanic on your shoes and we can leave since they're gonna work on this island. And then Atlas is like, let's go, Bonnie's like, let's go, Vegapunk. And he's like, go without me, Bonnie. I've been a doctor for long enough to know that if I move now, I'll die. And they're like, what? So then Kizaru shows up and he goes, you'll be dead either way. This is it. And he does like a to send out one of his lights, you know, a laser. Boom! We just see Sanji. Dude, he just kicks it. He kicked. Obviously, you know, he wasn't gonna fucking smack it away or something. He doesn't use his hands, but Sanji comes up, kicks Kizaru's laser. And Kizaru's face is like, oh, wow, whoa, I was not expecting that. Holy shit, Sanji. And we never see Frankie have a reaction like this to like a fight or something. But he's like, what the? And his eyes pop out of his head and his tongue too. And he's like, that was a freaking laser. How did you do that? And we see Sanji. Now, people, they forget about this and his eyebrows are always curly. But after he used the Germa can thing at Onigashima when he was fighting Queen, his eyebrows switched. So when his eyebrow curls this way, now it curls that way. So you know what I mean? Like they invert. So right here, his eyebrows are inverted. He says, of course, he says this corny line, light doesn't hold a candle to love. And it's like, okay, Sanji. I mean, you just deflected and saved Bonnie and Vegapunk. Even though Vegapunk's about to die, I would like to assume. But hey, man, hey. Whatever. And then you see Kizaru, and he's like, if that's true, then they'll have to scrap the physics books and start from scratch. And then they're like, let's go to the northeast door. And then they're like running. And he's like, well, I'm in a real pickle now. They'll expect me to at least bring back your heads after all of this. And he's standing before Sanji, Vegapunk, and Luffy. So they did leave Vegapunk there. So maybe he is going to die, because he said, literally, like, if I move, I'm probably dead. So just leave me here. I don't know, but we'll see next chapter, I guess. And Luffy's just like, he's just laughing, having a good time. And Sanji's like, you better start drafting an apology letter for them then. You know, because he's like, they expect me to at least have that. And he's like, well, you better apologize, because you ain't even getting that. And then when you're, you know, like little crumble shit, like when you're stepping out of rocks or something, and then you hear stepping sounds. And you hear, well, it's not every day you see one of the 5 elders down in the dirt. And he's like, And we see Katarina Devon and Van Augur of the Blackbeard Pirates. And she goes, my, look at you. Just what kind of delicious power do you have? And then she goes, ooh. He's like, to think an elder would come down to the surface and bless us with his presence. It's unheard of. And then, this is the part where I'm like, holy shit. Oh, no. No. Like, oh, no. Like, we are so fucked. She walks up. Katarina walks up and taps Saint Saturn. Just touches him once. That's it. Just touches him once and says, mission complete. What? You're telling me Katarina is going to be able to transform into the Gorosei now? Or at least one of them? Oh, dude. Holy shit, Oda. Holy crap. Saint Saturn just kind of turns around and says, what business do you have here? And then Saint Saturn gets up and it says, Katarina Devon, I'm surprised a level 6 escapee like you would choose the life of a subordinate. Teach is special, she says, as is his lineage. And he's like, so you know about that. Your crew is always up to something. What do you hope to get out of these stunts? You know, because he's like, you guys are always plotting shit. So what's the point of it? What are you guys trying to accomplish here? Do you want to be king of the pirates? Do you just want to be, you know, what do you want? ... Van Augur's just sitting there with his gun and he says, the world. I'm not even gonna lie, that is sick. You could just see like their malicious like aura, just like, you know, they're like cocky, like we're getting this. And he just turns around and looks at, he just like no hesitate, nothing, just turns around, looks at, you know, Saint Saturn. Saint Saturn goes to attack him, pop, disappears, and he's like, and he's just like, and they're just walking. He's like, let's be off then. And Katarina's like, we're still on the island. Couldn't you have like took us further? And he's like, I haven't mastered it yet. He's like, what? Wait, hold on, please, a second. Supersonic Van Augur Maiden Hunter Katarina Devon. He's like, I thought we'd never meet in a place like this. And they turn around, they're like, what the? And we see, oh my god, get this guy out of here, bruh. We see Caribou, and he's like, I'm a pirate like you, my name's Caribou. I've been looking for you guys for like, ever. So sorry, I meant to say forever. He's like a fanboy. He's like, he's pulling up Bartolomeo. No! Oh no, dude. He's like, I said so because I wanted to meet a great man just like him. He's my idol. He's my hero. I've always dreamed of being the lackey for the Commodore of Teach's crew. It's all I ever wished for. Please take me to meet him. And he's like bawling his eyes out. He's freaking out. He's crying. End of chapter. No break next week. We're back, baby. Holy crap, dude. Whew. That was whoa. And that wasn't even like the craziest chapter that's happened in the past, few weeks. But the Blackbeard pirates finally stepping foot. They were mentioned like chapter, like at the beginning of Egghead, like when everything was starting, like when everybody started showing up, like the gore and everything. We saw the Blackbeard, like their ship, the flag. So it's like we saw the Jolly Roger. So to see them finally now, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then in the anime, they showed Blackbeard versus Law, and that one was amazing. So it's like, oh my god. This was amazing. This was an epic chapter. I can't wait for next week. We're getting a new color spread as well. So honestly, my prediction for the next chapter is Sanji's probably gonna throw a few rounds, maybe like a panel or two with Kizaru. He's gonna send him flying, and then he's gonna be like, all right, we gotta get out of here. There's not gonna be like extended fights because at this point, it's turning into a war, So like Sanji or Luffy's gonna have to send them flying. They're gonna have to be like, let's get out of here while they're done. Oimo, Kashi, Dory, and Bragi are still have yet to be like Straw Hats over here. Besides Usopp, who saw from the Labo Stratum or whatever, he saw down with binoculars. So I assume maybe like 3-4 chapters. I think, and then we're gonna. I don't know. This is tough because I can see this like. Being next chapter, we do something with the Blackbeard pirates, with the Giant Warrior pirates, and they get on the island, they start like hacking and slashing against Marines, and then they're like, oh, they're the Straw Hats, let's help them with the ship, and then they like bring the ship because it's they could just pick it up, and they put it on their Viking longship. Then Kizaru and they show up, and then I don't know, I see something like that happening. It's just I don't see them extending fights longer, and I could see Egghead really ending in like 7 chapters or so. I could really see that. Maybe like 6. I that's just my prediction. Like it could end sooner, to be honest. I don't know, man, but this is a good chapter. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm back. Hopefully we get more amazing shit like this. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace out.